Yeah, drones violated the airspace of 4 airports, one of which is located in northern Denmark and is also used as a military base or as a military facility in addition to a commercial airport. And these incursions forced the airports to shut down temporarily while officials try to figure out what was going on and to try to contain the situation. This follows a similar incident just days earlier at Copenhagen Airport, where drone sightings forced a temporary shutdown of the airspace for several hours. And what's alarming here to European officials is the level of coordination, that these drones were not just flying near airports either. They were reportedly hovering close to critical infrastructure, including military facilities like those used for Denmark's F-35 fighter jets. The Danish Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, called the Copenhagen incident the most serious attack on critical infrastructure to date. So some pretty strong words. And these drone incursions, have all taken place on the heels of airspace violations in other EU countries recently. To remind your audience, 3 Russian fighter aircraft flew into Estonian airspace last week. And then earlier this month, 20 drones, also of Russian origin, flew into Polish airspace. And according to NATO, that was the first time that Russian combat drones had been shot down over NATO territory. Those drones were shot down by Polish and Dutch jets. And then there was also another incident in Poland recently where drones were observed flying around government buildings. And over the weekend, cyber attacks disrupted airport activity across Europe, including the airport here in Berlin, as well as in London Heathrow and Brussels. So here in Europe, there's a very real concern that European readiness and response is being tested. Well, at this stage, Danish officials are being extremely cautious about directly naming Russia as a responsible actor, but several officials have insinuated that they do believe Russia or Russian state-backed actors are responsible, are to blame. The Danish defense minister called these incidences a hybrid attack, as you mentioned, and this term refers to tactics that fall below what's considered the threshold of conventional warfare, but are still designed to destabilize or intimidate a country. The drones, were observed roughly within the same 24-hour time frame, and that does seem to suggest that they were coordinated and systematic. The defense minister says he has no doubt of that. And the head of Denmark's National Security and Intelligence Service told reporters at a news conference that Russian covert activity poses a security threat. He didn't explicitly say that Russia was behind these threats, but it was certainly implied. Well, Denmark is now stepping up its drone defense capabilities and considering emergency legislation that would give authority greater powers to intercept or neutralize drones in restricted airspaces, because right now the legal framework doesn't really allow for a fast military response, especially in civilian areas. So there's a push to kind of streamline that process. The Danish defense minister has also said that the country is working closely with NATO allies in order to share intelligence and explore the options for a more coordinated European response, possibly even deploying anti-drone technologies at key sites or on borders. And beyond Denmark, of course, this is prompting some wider conversations here in Europe about how Europe can defend itself and defend critical infrastructure from threats like drones. And if Russia is behind these incursions, what the appropriate response would look like, and what would be worth it without escalating the situation even further.